As you probably saw if you're a frequent viewer of the channel, we did a recent trip to Ventimiglia, which is in Italy, just on the border to France. While we were there, we spotted a very nice yacht. Now, we went there to film a video about a marina called Cala del Forte. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link in the top corner. But we went there the night before. We wanted to get some B-roll. This is something that we do frequently. We'll go early. We went in the evening before the day that we were going to film the marina to fly around and get some the establishing shots like you see in the video. However, when we got there, we see this boat out at anchor. Now, for me, because I've been on board this vessel before, and even from the distance we were at, I immediately knew it was Motor Yacht Bold. And the weather was perfect to film and to fly the drones and get some great aerial footage. Now, Bold was looking grand. You know, the yacht looked perfect in the waters. The weather was so nice, the light was perfect, and the yacht was laid out in a way that we'll come back to in a little bit, but I'll explain why it's laid out the way it is. Now, so we got all our B-roll and all our shots of the yacht with the marina in the background and stuff like that, but then I couldn't help but just to continue to film this stunning looking yacht just sat there at anchor in this perfect water. Now, the yacht was built in 2019 by Silver Yachts, shipyard based in Australia, and the boat was initially owned by the owner of the shipyard. You know, built to this is what we can do, and you know, to hopefully bring in more orders. And it debuted at the 2019 Monaco Yacht Show. Now, we went on board at the show and we made a couple of videos. One was a basic tour, and the second was a technical tour. However, the first tour didn't go very well, and I was kind of rushed. I was on a tour with another person and a crew member who was showing us around, and the other person, for whatever reason, was in a hurry, and the crew member automatically rushed both of us around, and I got a really poor video out of it, really. So at the end of that video, he says, you know, you can hang around and get on another tour. Now, fortunately, I was able to get on a tour with the guy who oversaw the building of the AV system, the audiovisual system, and the IT system, and he took me around one-on-one. There was nobody else on the tour. It was a perfect tour. Now, the footage, the filming of it wasn't technically what I would consider to be great, but it's a really interesting tour. I'll put a link in the top corner as well. So I got to see the inside of the boat as well. Now, curiously, on a side note, in 2021 at the Monaco Yacht Show, there was Motor Yacht Bold again. Because of what I said about the previous video not being at its best, I thought, well, I'll go back on board and I'll make a better video. I had better equipment with me this time, had more time. So I went up to the people who were controlling access and I said, I'd like to come on board. And they said, no, I'm sorry, you can't come on. And I thought, well, that's a bit strange. So maybe they don't know that I'm from Eastern Super Yachts, and maybe they don't know I've already been on. There doesn't seem to be any reason to not allow me to come on once I've already been on, right? So I asked, and they said, actually, we know who you are, and we've been told to not let you on board. So I've never found out why, but yeah, it was denied access. But anyway, it doesn't stop me from making this video. So, like I said, we went there to film the Cala del Forte video, which I'll put links in all the normal places. And Motor Yacht Bold is an 85 meter or 278 foot boat in length, which means she's actually too large to dock in the marina, which is probably why she was at anchor where she was. The marina's maximum berth is one of 75 meters or 246 foot. But this worked out well for us because we got epic footage of the yacht, as I think you'll agree. Now, the build of this vessel was, the cost of the build of the vessel was about $100 million. I say about because, you know, only really the owner and the shipyard know exactly how much a vessel costs, and unless they share it with someone else, it's just, it's kind of guesswork, really. Now, as a result of it costing around 100 million, it probably costs around 10 million a year to maintain it, to run. That's based on the 10% rule, which is the 10% of the initial cost of build is generally what the cost is to run a vessel. Now, we believe the current owner to be a chap called Guido Cress, who, that's according to Superyacht Fan, who previously owned another yacht built by Silver Yachts, and that was called Silver Fast. He's an admirer of their work, clearly. He owns at least 2 yachts that they built. So some of the features of the yacht, obviously it's a military style yacht, and from a profile or in a shadow in a dark photo, it really does look like a military vessel. It features a helicopter landing pad, which I believe is a touch and go pad, meaning that they can't sail with the helicopter on board. Now, I might be wrong about that. I seem to recall being told that when I was on board, but I might be wrong. So if someone knows different, then they can correct me in the comments. Another feature are giant TVs. There is one on the aft deck. It's more like midships, but it's on the aft deck, on the wall there outside. And it's huge. It's taller than, I'm almost 2 meters tall. It's taller than me. It's like 4 meters wide, huge thing. It's like an specific outdoor type screen. And then they've got another one in the main salon, a big one, which is made up of multiple smaller screens. Out on deck, there are 2 massive cranes. There's one on the foredeck, which is to recover the jet skis, which go into a garage. And there's one on the aft deck, which holds those big boats out of the water there, and they get stored on the aft deck when the boat's at sea. The vessel can take 12 guests in 8 cabins, and it is available for charter. It's a charter vessel. Now, one of the features I do like, which is a technical detail, but it's the way the windows on the bridge are designed. I know it sounds funny. Of all the things I could have picked, this is because I'm a crew member and I think about these things from a technical point of view as well. Let me explain. So there's a cover above the windows, and the windows lay outwards from the bottom. They tilt outwards from the bottom, right? The reason why this is a good thing is because very often a super yacht, strangely, is in very nice hot weather, like 40 degrees, etc. And when the windows are the other way, so they're out from the top, they act like a greenhouse, and the bridge gets very hot. And even when you crank up the AC all the way up, you can't cool down the bridge. And that is obviously very tiring for the bridge crew. Possible safety issues could lie in there, you know, if the crew are exhausted from being overheated constantly. So the way this bridge is designed, they go outwards, and there's a cover on top, so there's no direct sunlight hitting them on the bridge, and it keeps the whole bridge cooler. Less AC needs to be used, etc. So it's a really good feature. Going back to what I was saying earlier about, is this boat on a guest trip? Now, I don't believe it is on a guest trip. And the reason why I say that is because of the way it's laid out. Now, this is based on my experience in the industry of how yachts are prepared for guests, or for, you know, being prepared to be viewed by potential buyers or brokers or something. At first glance, the yacht does appear to be prepped for a guest trip, which is, you know, that's what the intention is, for it to look as it would when the guests are on board. But I believe it was actually being shown to brokers or maybe a potential buyer. I'm not sure. Now, the clues are in the way that the boat is laid out. For example, the position of the jet skis on the stern deck there. Now, on a guest trip, those jet skis would be in the garage waiting to be used, and the batteries would be on a trickle charger, which is the way it is on all yachts, you know, because you don't want the batteries to be flat when you want to use it. Having them out there on the deck with the cover on it, looks nice. The way they're positioned and everything, and that's what it's for, looks. Practicality, not so much, right? Because you've got to launch those into the water. On a guest trip, they would keep them in the garage, and they would be ready to go when the owners wanted to use them. Here, they're laid out in a presentation way to show that they've got those jet skis, which suggests people looking around, probably brokers for charter, because it is a charter boat. Also, the large screen on the aft deck was playing on a loop with nobody around, as you can see in the footage here. And the stern door is open, which generally it would not be left open like that. It would either be open, and then there would be people there working to get things out and put things in, and then it would be closed. But it would never sort of be open and just left unmanned. So it's probably like that because they're showing people around and they want access to everywhere without having to, you know, call the engineers to open the stern door. Now, in the video footage, when I was filming, there was actually people walking around the boat as if they were looking at the boat. Now, I don't want to show, you know, close-ups of them or anything like that, because it's not why we're here. I don't care who's on board. We're looking at the yacht, not at the people who are on board. Now, speaking of close-ups, some of the footage here appears that my drone is very close to the boat. However, we have a great zoom feature on the drone and we're able to stay nice and clear. I'll show you some footage of how far we actually are away from the boat, and we're able to zoom right in to get footage of the boat without being too close. So we always try to keep our distance, and we're not here to, we're not paparazzi, so we're not trying to show people on board. We're just trying to show the yachts, because that's why we're here, and that's why you're here, I think, to watch the boats and not the people, Okay, so if you are in the market for a boat and you have $100 million burning a hole in your pocket, you can order a yacht just like this for yourself. The model is it's an off-the-peg model, so to speak. It's an 85-meter World Explorer. But that, of course, does not mean that you will get the same identical yacht as Bold. So if you don't like the chairs in the main salon, and you don't like the big screen in the main salon, or you don't like the decor in the cabins, you can spec it exactly how you want, and you can go down to very minute details, which is that's the reason why people buy super yachts, right? To have it exactly the way they want it. In fact, Silver Yachts have delivered another vessel which is on the same design, called Global Fast. That came out a few years after Bold, and you can see very similar design. She's just painted white. Okay, so let us know what you think of the yacht. Any features do you like, or anything you don't like? I'm sure there are plenty of people typing right now how they dislike the design and how you can't buy taste, even though obviously the taste is very personal. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think, whether you liked it or not. And always remember to like the video and to subscribe if you haven't already, and to look out for our new feature coming next week, a look at Scheherazade in Italy, some of the latest news. We were just down there last week. Now, if you're a Patreon member, it's already live on Patreon, so you can go over there right now and check it out. You can click on the link up here and you can sign up and you can go watch that video right now. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.